Today we're going to check out Predator Badlands on 4K Blu-ray. I'm not here to talk about how good or bad the movie is. I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 4.5K. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated PG-13. Runtime is 107 minutes. Aspect ratio is 239:1, and the audio is in Dolby Atmos. Now, before we take a look at the audio and see how active this mix is, if you don't know what the Dolby Atmos Object Viewer is, you can find a link down below in this video's description that tells you all about it, what it does, and where you can get it. You can also find a list of all the gear that I use for these 4K reviews down there as well, like my Sony projector and TVs and the 26-channel RBH setup. Links down below in the video's description. So when I reviewed this movie on digital a few weeks back, I thought it was a great sounding mix, and on 4K Blu-ray, it sounds pretty much the same. It starts off with a great action scene between two predators fighting each other with a lot of sword slashing that you can almost feel slashing right across your face as it moves from left to right. There's a bunch of jumping around that moves from lower to the top channels, and as you can see, this is a full-on dynamic mix which will scale nicely with smaller speaker setups to really big ones. At 18 minutes, there are these killer vines trying to kill the predator, which you can hear slowly moving behind you until all havoc breaks loose and they're coming at you from every speaker location. It is one of the best sounding parts of the movie. Coming in at around 14 minutes, there's a ship that's hurling through space about to crash land. So we've got debris hitting the outside exterior, which you'll hear surrounding you from all directions and makes it sound like you're sitting inside this cockpit. This part also has a ton of low energy bass that'll rumble your space. There's a pretty cool scene at 37 minutes where it sounds like a giant creature is above your head in the top channels, opening its mouth, grabbing the two main characters in the lower channels, which matches perfectly to what's happening on screen. There's actually quite a few times where this kind of little stuff happens off screen till you hear it move on screen. So there is some clever, subtle sound panning throughout this movie. At 30 minutes in, we have a scene that takes place in a cave, so there's some faint echo that they placed in the surround channels to make the soundstage larger sounding than what it actually is, so it matches more closely what you are seeing on screen. And you'll also hear that it's raining outside, which you can hear bouncing off of the top speakers. As for bass response, it's about the same as what I heard on the digital, so the big fight with the main creature towards the end of the movie is, I think, the most bass-heavy scene. It's got a bunch of things blowing up and giant monster footsteps that are very reminiscent of the Jurassic Park T-Rex footsteps. There's actually a bunch of scenes with big kaiju chasing after the predator that'll have your house shaking. I didn't get any infrasonic levels of bass, but still dug low enough in certain parts. I did feel that the bass could have hit harder for some of the really big action scenes, which kind of made this movie feel flat at times. But as a whole, it was still a great sounding mix. Now, I did have to bump up the volume a few dB to get it up to interstellar levels, just not as much as I did when I watched the same movie on streaming.
Oh, come on!
Video quality wise, again, this was pretty much the same as when I saw it on iTunes. The black levels are a bit more stable without the compression artifacts, i.e. macro blocking or blotchiness, but the black still did look somewhat raised and they did come across more dark gray rather than a deep dark inky black, which I'm sure was probably just a color grading choice. It does have a light level of film emulation, so you'll notice some film grain throughout, which is very lightly applied. This does give the movie a softer look and takes away from that digital sharp edginess. The Predator still looked highly detailed with a ton of alien skin textures. The wide landscape shots looked really great, although the CG can be kinda cartoony at times, which doesn't fit in with how well the other CG was done. As for the HDR, the color palette is mostly earthy tones, so a lot of browns, greens, and grays, and it is subdued looking, so not much in the way of vibrant, radiant colors besides the fiery explosions, which do pop off the screen. Overall, I thought this was a great looking transfer. It's got plenty of detail with nice Dolby Vision HDR and decent black levels. I'm going to go with a 9.2 for video. Audio-wise, this is another strong contender for the best audio mix of the year. It's got a very active Atmos mix with a ton of top channel engagement. I would have liked some stronger mid-bass punch, but it was still a fun mix overall. I'm going to go with a 9.7 for audio. So what are your thoughts on Predator Badlands on 4K Blu-ray? Did you like him as a good guy, or should he remain a bad guy? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, if you do want to pick up this movie, I will leave some links for it down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media. And if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by my Patreon page. Be sure to like this video if you found it useful and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you again in the next video.